conversation with my motherfucker, James Linker from Shredded Sports Science. James, introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is James. I run a YouTube channel. That's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So you don't do anything else?
No. So for people that haven't seen my channel, basically, it's a mixture of science content, but then I also do some sort of critique stuff, and I make some very, very bad jokes, some the worst jokes you could ever make. But yeah, thank you for having me. I'm loving these conversations. These are these are a nice addition.
Crystal thinks you're one of the funniest people on YouTube.
Yeah, see that? She's one of a very few. She's one of a very
because thinks you're one of the funniest people on YouTube.
Because some of the feedback I get, I can tell you. So, and what I will say to people is, I purposefully make bad jokes. So I want some people to understand that, because I always get the comment, "Oh, James, that is not funny." There's different types of humor. If I'm making "that's what she said" jokes, I'm not being serious.
Yeah. And I just real quick, everybody, I'm also going to introduce my wife, the owner of the Dam Collective and Dam Training Athletics. She's the CEO of all three of our companies. I work for her. And what most people, this is Crystal Roberts. You can find her at Dam Serenity on Instagram. And what most people don't know is that she seriously does help me write most of the videos. I just kind of have the swear words. So yeah, Crystal is personal trainer, degree in communications, food addiction coach, blah, blah. Her resume is twice the size as mine. So we thought we'd have a conversation with James today. And James, me and you have been following each other and friends through the whole time now. I think I found your channel when you had like 1,500 subscribers.
It was probably less than that, to be honest. Yeah, you've given my channel multiple kicks up the backside, which has been appreciated.
I think that we've helped each other in like several ways. You've spoken about, like, you gave my channel kind of validity in the fact, besides a few other people talking about it, that I actually knew what I was talking about. Like, I just wasn't swearing, you know.
Yeah, so like the first ever video I saw of yours was one of your Naudi Aguilar videos, who is, for people that might not know, he's from Functional Patterns, and you used to call him Fictional Patterns. Like, the reason when I saw your video and you were talking about, show me the peer-reviewed research on your claims, and like my head exploded, because it was like, I've not seen anyone else saying this on YouTube. Who is this guy? And so that's when I first kind of got into your stuff, and then also through Elgin Intensity, who I followed for a long time for the giggles. But yeah, he also mentioned you. So yeah, and that's something that we talked about, when I started following you, and people who watch YouTube now and they see the critique videos, they see, such engagement, humor, such large views. When you started doing this, when I started doing these types of things, it was not like that. It was as I say, the ridicule, the backlash, the barriers, so.
I mean, you're a hater. You're just trying to. The
troll, all of that.
Clout chasing thing was the bit.
Yeah, I think Chris Herrier perfectly summed it up, didn't he? I think his quotes that he left for you.
Yeah, look, I mean, and nothing against Herrier. Like, I think that one surprised me the most, because I do try to get people to mention me. Like, if I'm speaking about you, I want a dialogue, right? And I think his was the most, like, he acknowledged all of us. Like you, everybody, And I found that kind of crazy, because when you're so clearly wrong, when you so clearly don't know what the fuck you're doing, and the people that obviously do, I found it like his people were after me, like, you can't even do a pistol squat, and like, you can't even do this. Like, mother, are you fucking kidding? Like, you can go back at that time. You could go back like 6 months and see me do like a 54-inch box jump. And I was like, they really don't care. And I think that's a huge issue that you and I both touch on as much as possible. We try to make sure that the information gets out. What got you, besides watching Elgin and myself and stuff like that, what got you doing that? Like, what made you think, like, because it certainly is not the fucking money.
Yeah.
Nor the notoriety, because while some people are noticing who the fuck we are now,
yeah,
I mean, people like the established people, except for one or two, would never even, like, they wouldn't take my phone call.
Yeah,
so what made you decide to do it?
That's really interesting because, and I know everyone's gonna call me, James, what are you talking about? But I'm not actually an attention seeker, which sounds ridiculous because obviously I make YouTube videos. So I want people to watch my videos. Of course I do. Of course I want views, subscribers. But in the real world, I'm not the loud guy in the room. I'm the quiet guy in the corner. I'm not. So I think where you're coming at it from is important. If you're chasing the fame or whatever that side of it is, I think it's kind of a recipe for disaster. But for me, it's basically just the frustration. So it's like, with your content now and the obesity stuff, that's very similar to me, and kind of this when I see people talking about metabolism, and my head wants to explode because they use a buzzword for such a complicated mechanism in the body, and it's really it comes out of frustration, disbelief, and then just over time, YouTube can be a wonderful way to communicate, but it takes time, but it can be a wonderful way to express yourself. I just got the live chat going now. I just figured that out too.
Oh, good.
I can read some of the comments, but yeah, so that's really what I got into it, just to give information, but also so when people approach questions, they approach it in the right philosophical way. So, there's no one size fits all answer. Basically, when it comes to fitness questions, it depends.
Yeah.
That's the way you look at it. It depends, and that's not popular, but that's the way that people need to approach pretty much anything on the spectrum of fitness and health.
When you coach people in real life, I mean, the first thing we do is we make sure we understand the person. Like, it's you have to individualize everything. Like, I'm always so amazed at how people give such like in the ground, planting their flag answers or advice about fitness on YouTube, when just what you said just now, like, it depends. Like, it truly does. Like, that's why, like, medical questions, like, there was like Spartan University recently did a thing like something about patellar tendonitis or something like that, right?
Okay.
But I'm like, you're fucking crazy. Like, I mean, that's almost libel. Like, somebody can easily fuck themselves up. I get nervous as shit about that. Have you ever made a video where you like wish you could take it back? Like, you gave advice, you're like, fuck.
Multiple times. But see, that's the interesting thing. So when you read the comments under your videos, of course you're going to get people that leave the kind of nonsensical comment, but you do get people that will leave something critical, and you're like, actually, yeah, you're kind of right. That makes sense. Maybe I shouldn't say it like that. So not a specific topic, but definitely how I word my sentences. So for example, I'll say, you may use drop sets. I'll be very careful with using the word may rather than you should, or you have to, or you need, so so it's more the way I deliver the sentences. I'm very careful in trying to keep it in that format where you're not giving definitives and specifics. So in terms of specific content, it's hard, guys. It's hard to go back. So fat loss supplements. So years ago, so this is interesting because the theory of fat loss supplements makes complete sense.
Yeah.
You look at L-carnitine, you look at caffeine, which is a fat extractor. You look at L-carnitine, which can help transport fat and all these different things in the body, and it makes perfect sense. So you put it in a supplement that will work. And so I used to theoretically believe in fat loss supplements. I wouldn't take them, I wouldn't promote them, but I understood the theory. But then over the last year or so, when I look at fat metabolism and the processes of the body, and you look at the fat loss supplements, they're just not significant. They're just not significant and chronic in their effect, meaning long term, and it's not so easy to hack your metabolism or your body. So certainly fat loss supplements, I've done a complete 360, in the way that, and I corrected that in a video. I said I was wrong, kind of. Which and then fat loss supplements are one thing that I've completely changed.
Theory, because correct me if I'm wrong, but most fat loss supplements run off the basis of thermogenics too, right?
Yeah.
And you can't increase your body temperature enough safely to actually get a long-term enough of a benefit that's going to be more than just a margin of error.
And it's this idea that fat loss happens on a per needed basis. So body fat is fuel. Essentially, it has many functions, such as shielding your organs from trauma, or but stored body fat is fuel. And so if you want to burn fat, you have to create the environment that where your body's going to burn fat. Trying to hack it externally, you may increase your temperature, you may burn a few extra calories for a short period of time, but your body is smart. Your body wants homeostasis, your body will adapt, and it happens on a per needed basis. You cannot. There's this wonderful quote from Dr. Eddie Joe, and he's got loads of great social media, but he says physiology is not easily tricked. You cannot trick your physiology. And so that's a wonderful quote. That's a t-shirt.
Yeah, that is a t-shirt. There's no hacks. I hate the hack thing, you know, like and I think you do a good job of showing that, where how, especially on Instagram, how like you call it the Insta virus.
The Insta virus, yeah.
I actually think the technical term is Insta garbage now, because somebody stole that from you. But anyway, it's amazing how people nobody will know our name until all of a sudden they fucking just take our shit. But
what's hilarious is there was a recent video where a guy, he's on, I don't actually know what it's called. It's like a balance board. He's on like one of these balance boards. He's got a barbell over his head. He's doing ridiculous stuff on Instagram, and his t-shirt said virus on it. And I'm not joking. It was like, oh, it was incredible. It's like, if there's proof that the world is a simulation, that was it. That was just
so funny. With the Instagram thing. When you first started, like, because for a while, you and I we would talk about YouTube a lot, you know, and talk about how to beat the algorithm basically, and not get demonetized, and for me, how to keep my channel and shit like that. But then like not too long ago, about a year ago, both you and I were like, have you seen this shit? Like on Instagram, I can't get over at some point in time, do you feel like the companies should step in with the amount of dangerous and misleading shit, or should it just remain like a free for all?
Yeah, so that's interesting. So let me preface this by saying I don't think that I'm one for like political stands, or I don't think I'm, what I'm doing is going to make, but what I will say is that I don't post publicly on Instagram anymore, because, and so someone like you will take on these issues on Instagram when it comes to the obesity. You will take on these people, you will tag them, you will go back. That's your way of sort of approaching it. My way has just been, Instagram is removing body recomposition pictures which is just nonsense. So my thing is just, I'm just going to stay. I'm not going to contribute to that platform. And so that's actually interesting. That's one thing I've started doing, is just, I don't want to contribute to the platform. But there's so many different threats we see now, which in terms of Instagram, the circus tricks, these different movements which are just complete science denial, fake personalities as well. That's another big threat. But yeah, so that's interesting you said that, because I don't use Instagram. So for the people that keep tagging me, it's so kind of you. Thank you for that. But I'm not currently active on the Insta virus right now.
And is that for your own sanity, or just yours?
Yeah, it's sanity. So when it comes to a lot of your content on obesity, which is really important, and I watch your videos, but what I really struggle to watch some of these other influencers on the other side of the debate. I find it almost emotionally like frustrating, and I really struggle to even read their posts, the things they're saying. So yeah, I think it's probably for my own sanity.
You're telling me like I think the science denial is I totally get the emotional aspect of it. Like I was fat myself. I get the emotional aspect of it, but it's like the science denial. Like the video I have coming out later today is kind of about that. Like, it's not shame. If a fact can't shame you, like you and I, you can say BCAAs don't work.
Yep. Which they don't.
Which they don't. I mean, there's data. Like
you don't realize what you've just done. The amount of comments that are coming now about BCAAs, you don't know what you've just done.
but it's just real data. Like, I mean, like if somebody can show me real data that they do, I'll then accept that my mind has changed again. And it's not like I've never taken BCAAs. Like, I mean, for a while, especially like my education about supplements and fitness over the last 5 years has grown exponentially. But I've taken it before, and I'll still take them occasionally when people send them to me for free, and they got a good flavor because it's better than flavored water, or better than water, But
Yeah.
the ridiculousness of that shit is crazy. Like, and then you get it's like nobody has balance. We get people that no supplements work. Caffeine works pretty fucking good, like it just does, And I
just did a video on that as well. There's decent caffeine has so much research as an ergogenic aid, essentially, which means it can improve performance in so many different things. So anaerobic power, endurance. There are so many applications of caffeine, but fat loss is actually not one of those that I think significant. Right. In other areas, yeah. So absolutely, there are supplements, but then when it comes to supplements again, people need to understand that, do you need it? Some people do need it for different reasons, but just think critically when you approach supplements. I'm already seeing all the "am I anabolic" comments to the people there, and all the bold comments there.
Yeah,
naughty
The
people.
bald thing I find amazing too. Like, like they say that as an insult, like we're all of a sudden shocked. Like, no shit, I'm bald. What the fuck?
Yeah.
She likes bald.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right, motherfuckers. So what's next for you? Like, I mean, content-wise, where are you trying to go to?
Nothing. No, it's really an interesting one for me. I'm very interested in the dangerous stuff. So, the Devon. So there's a guy you talked about. His name is Devon Levesque, and he's hiding under the disguise of functional training. But essentially, what he's doing is just insanity. So those types of people who are, and in their post, they're saying, tag someone to try this. It's not a gray area. They're encouraging their followers to try it. It's
crazy. I'm looking them up right now.
Yeah, these types of people who are, because this is one of the threats, and the thing people need to understand is these Instagram influencers, terrible word, but they make serious money. That's not a lie. If they have 2 million followers, they make serious cash. And so what they have to do is continually make their content more attractive to people. They have to keep increasing the ante. And so what you're seeing is more and more dangerous stunts. And so that's something I'm very interested in. And of course, any sort of science issue which I come across. But one thing that I will say to people is I have absolutely no plan what I make videos on. I don't know what I'm doing next week. So it's very much which is terrible advice. Anyone who wants to do YouTube, don't listen to me. You should have a plan, but I have no plan for next week. It's very much what I feel, so that's very much my channel is me. It's authentic. It's what I'm feeling at that time. And it's similar to you. We don't have production crews around us. We don't have script writers and lighting and editing teams. And, so I think that's another interesting point too.
So somebody's saying, well, Athletic sells BCAAs. He does. I poked fun at him when I saw him last time.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You can. So that's interesting too, because you can disagree with someone on something, but are they misleading people?
Yeah.
So when some people sell supplements, they openly mislead with their statements. So that's again there is difference to that, but that is correct.
I mean, people do, like, for a while I got that all the time. Like, well, Jeff said this, then I don't agree. I mean, him and I don't agree on, like, Jeff is like, you never need to count your calories. I'm very much in the house of, if you're morbidly obese and you know nothing about food and nothing about nutrition, it builds a good habit, and it also educates you at the same time about what you're actually eating and what's in your food. So I think people do. Like, Jeff does talk to like a very very athletic audience, where I talk to a much different audience. Our audience is very different.
I find it's helpful too if you're at a sticking point, you hit a plateau and you don't know why. Taking a look at your calories, exactly what you're eating, and how much of it will help you fix that.
I like this comment. It says Instagram is cleansing the gene pool. It really is. People photoshopping and all that. One of the big things that I think that that I don't know if you've touched on. What do you think about the whole fake natty thing? That was so big for a little while. What do you think about that?
Well, it's no longer the biggest threat. I think the fake personality is now the biggest threat, rather than the fake natty. But so I've heard your take on this, and it doesn't really matter. In certain contexts, it's the actual movement from Kino Body was ridiculous because if anyone who understands testing and understands, that was never going to work. But I think, what is your quote? I don't want to misquote you. You have something about natural stupidity.
Yeah, it's naturally stupid.
Yeah, that quote. If you don't know whether Simian Panda, this guy, the big drama now, this guy, what's his name? Someone tell me. He came out and said Simian Panda's natural. I think his name's Brandon Harding. He's one of the, if you don't know whether these people are, you need to develop your knowledge in other areas to then, there's bigger issues for you probably than is this guy,
That's my thing. Like, if you think that somebody can get on, and if they're holding up a pre-workout and they say this pre-workout built this body, you're dumb if you believe that. You really, really are. Because in reality, that pre-workout's been around 6 months, and that guy's body built probably 10, 15 years to build.
That's really important. I think a lot of people don't know that information, and actually, I didn't know that information till I spoke to you a while ago. You had a podcast, and I spoke to you, and you explained that maybe you can explain it better than me, but actual supplement ingredients are reformulated every so often. So the actual,
most of them to avoid FDA testing. Like the FDA will test their shit, but it's like such a corrupt industry, I was amazed that they were allowed to put like proprietary blends, especially proprietary blend with caffeine, because a stimulant should be something that you should absolutely fucking know how much you're taking in.
This guy Devin Physique, from Shreds, Devin Physique, who he's made a huge comeback, huge following. He does the same thing, all the different products, supplements, proprietary blends. 1 month he's with this company, then he's changed, and now this fat loss supplement is the best. So that is a problem. It is a problem. I'm not sure. It's not something I really make videos about now. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure. You might have better. I think you have a better insight into that. It's not something that I find, too valuable to give to my audience at this point.
In my mind, like, we don't have any of our clients use supplements ever. Like, learn to eat real food. I use pre-workout. Right now I'm using Casey Mitchell's pre-workout because we're friends and he sends it to me and it's awesome.
Which company is? What's the name of that one?
Rising Labs.
Okay, that's Rising Labs. I've seen you wear the T-shirt, so that's Casey Mitchell.
And Casey's he's a good friend of mine. I don't take any money from him at all. So
okay, so that's who that is. That's interesting. But that's the thing. A pre-workout is one supplement which you can use.
Yeah.
You don't have to. Creatine is another one you can use. A protein powder. There are certain supplements which they're not inherently wrong. You can, you don't have to. So if you take pre-workout, and again, it depends, put yourself on a spectrum. So how hard are you training? What's your intensity? How many times a week? What's your frequency? The higher those things are, the more you actually, maybe a pre-workout might benefit you. So again,
well, for us, it's a matter of we run 3 businesses plus 2 videos plus, it used to be, before all this started, I had like time where I would prepare and it was my gym time and all that. Now it's like, okay, we got 45 minutes right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like there's any gear up. It's not like there's like any time where we can, say, okay, get ready to go to the gym. It's like all of a sudden, like something will free up. You're like, okay, let's go. So it kind of like you need it, and in reality, like I've been working out 30 years, more 34 years. Jesus. Mm-hmm. I've been working out a long time. And it's like, I've worked out in all different ways. And to me, like I don't do it every day. I use it every time, but sometimes help with intensity. What are you training now?
Oh, so this is, again, so let me be very clear. I'm not doing CrossFit. I'm doing cross training because people will get that confused. So I'm very much into cross training right now, which is essentially what that means is you train multiple disciplines. Mm-hmm. So what I've started to do is, what are my weaknesses? Traditionally, probably like a lot of people watching this, lifting weights in the gym 5 times, having the regular splits, that's how I've trained for a long time. And of course, I love resistance training. It's a big part of my training. But now, I've started endurance work, long distance running, swimming, yoga. Yoga is my new. Yoga is like brushing my teeth to me. It's something I have to do every day. and it's become so vital to me. So essentially, I've expanded my outlook in the fact that I think it's really important. And so what are my weaknesses? And also, just for anyone listening, if you're like me and long distance running is something that was your kryptonite your whole life, you know, it's such an important mental tool as well. Training is not just physical. There's a huge mental component to it, a huge discipline component to it. So I find doing things that I'm not good at, long distance running, swimming, I found it not just physically beneficial, but the mental benefits as well for me are huge.
So what got you into yoga?
Oh, it's, so I should know better. I do know better. When it comes to, for example, resistance training, your mobility is a huge issue. Your flexibility, the ability to hold certain mechanical positions, especially when you're under external resistance. But it just comes down to this issue that we've got a bit of feedback there.
Well, it's very typical that we're getting ready to do this in the house we're renting in Florida right now. We're down in Florida for a couple of weeks trying to find a place.
A party's just started next door, is it?
The guy's mowing our lawn.
Oh, is he? No problem. That's all right. He can mow it. I can continue. I can ramble under any condition. Yeah, lawn mowing, music. I can ramble. So
Big cover, it won't take but a minute.
So when it comes to weightlifting, essentially, these contractions of your muscle, the tightening of the muscle, it's almost like this counterbalance of yoga mobility training. So it's a wonderful art in its own right. So in its own right, it stands alone as a beautiful art and as a way of training, but it also complements your weightlifting. It's when it comes to hamstring flexibility, ankles, all this different stuff. I think Warrior One is the best thing ever created, ever.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, you'll see me. So I'll just be walking along, inside my house, and suddenly you'll turn around. I'll be in Warrior One, just randomly, just
Love
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, but
I'll-
it's funny to
I'll-
hear
I'll-
someone else
Yeah.
say they do that.
Yeah, just
Chili cooking in a tree.
yeah, just in the supermarket, you'll see me, Warrior One, probably falling over, but I try my best. But yeah, so I think people should, again, try and embrace different ways of training. Cross training can be, there can be a stigma behind it. There can be a stigma behind yoga, long distance running, do you even lift, bro? But you know what? Just open your mind to longevity and different forms of training. And yeah, I really enjoy it.
That's something I think I'm actually doing something with Omar E stuff about, but where it's like, when we talk about different variety of training, like almost everybody who I've ever made a video about, I've tried to adopt a little bit of their training to try. Like literally almost everybody except for Tyrone and Vince. But I've tried to incorporate something from there. So I do a lot of I already did like a lot of plyometric work, but I do a lot more calisthenics now because there's
calisthenics as well. I love calisthenics. Different forms of resistance. Suspension training, traditional barbell work, calisthenics. I can see KH Performance just said about triathlon. These and so for some people, giving yourself a challenge, it probably won't be a triathlon for many people, but maybe a 10K race, or there are different challenges you can set yourself, and that's the good thing about having, if you like, a fitness lifestyle, and also having a body composition where you're not at immediate risk of perhaps disease. You can then focus on other challenges, and so it can become, so that's another aspect to it.
So I've done a few videos. You're so polite and like that. What the last video what was the last video you were really angry at the content?
There's been a few. There's I try and control it. The Devons on Instagram, but I was still fairly reserved in that one. Tess Holiday, I was reserved, but that can be difficult. I'm just having a quick little look at the library. The gym pranks as well. The gym prank ones I find kind of insane.
What was the last one where you said that the person got completely the opposite, got it like completely wrong?
Oh, so there's there's a few things I haven't made videos on that I feel like that. It can be okay. So essentially, just putting this out there, that misinterpreting information is a big thing. So and so whenever you see, what people need to understand is when it comes to training, you have to train according to your needs. That's perhaps the most important thing, and that includes your training history. Are you a beginner? Are you intermediate? Do you have, what history of injury do you have? What is your specificity? What's your time availability? What equipment do you have? There's a lot of factors. And so when it comes to training, there is no must do exercise.
Right.
There absolutely is a spectrum, and you need to put yourself on the spectrum. So I think that's important too. Tess Holliday's one, the video I made about you know way more about all the issues around this than me, but that's one. And the other influencer, Sonali, where type 2 diabetes is just bad luck and genetics.
So insane. You know, I mean, you can't get there sometimes with them. Like I like how you put it, because they're very they have a large audience of people that are super susceptible. They really want what they say to be true, you know. And it's not like the video I was talking about, I just looked it up, was your last Harriet video where he got everything wrong, like completely backwards, you know. It was but with Holiday, like, it's their audience. All their audience needs to do is start eating more. You know, like they don't need to train harder or anything like that. They just need to, like, okay, I can eat more. You know, and that's where it's very dangerous, because there's no gym you have to go to. The Harriet one, I could tell, like, I know you. Like, people don't know that we talk a lot, right? But I know you. I could tell how pissed you were. You're like, what do you do? The exact opposite.
Yeah. Oh, that's it, Chris Harriet. So for people that don't know, essentially he made a video on drop sets, which was the complete opposite science, literally the opposite to what's correct. It was kind of hilarious, but it's not funny, because he was actually real information given to 1 million people.
Yeah.
And then, but the thing about that, and so here's the thing, people say, you know, people ask me, you know, when they label you as a troll, someone being wrong is not a scandal. Chris Harriet not understanding muscle fibers is not a scandal, but he then took that information and performed barbell back squats with 2 guys stripping plates based on his beliefs, which were incorrect. And so he's going to hurt himself. People are going to emulate him. And and sometimes I get comments, James, do you really think that people are going to follow absolutely. These guys have huge influence. Absolutely. People are going to watch that. That's cool. Try it with my friend, strip plates off the bar, you know, and ultimately they're going to, you know, severely injure themselves. So yeah, that was slightly insane too.
Yeah. To me, the problem with his content is that he doesn't know what he doesn't know. Like, he really thinks he's an amazing athlete. Even the squats that he did, I was just like, he shouldn't be coaching people on this, you know, like. People don't know this. I actually sent him a message after he deadlifted one video, and it was like a diagram of him, how he was hunched over. I lined it out there like that. I was like, lock your elbows in. You have strong lats. Lock your elbows to the back. I was like trying to tutor him, because, like, here's the thing: he's not going to shut up. You know, like, I mean, like, no matter what, he's not going to shut up, right? So,
you know, and the thing with him is he gives direct tutorials. So he has another video. I didn't make a video on it. It's a dumbbell workout for his chest, and he's doing chest flies with dumbbells, and his range of motion is horrific. It's how deep his range of motion is. He's going to destroy his shoulders. So what people need to understand is, rather than getting upset with me or you and sending us these redundant, you know, comments about our appearance or whatever, why don't you contact your hero and tell him, you are going to hurt yourself, you severely hurt yourself, you know. Why not put responsibility and accountability on those people? But absolutely, yes, his straight tutorials, but not calisthenic, you know. His calisthenics are, you know, very good. No one can really say anything about his calisthenics.
No, I mean, I find it amazing. Like, I don't think anybody that actually watches his videos to watch them can do what he does.
Right. Exactly. That's the one point. And that's common amongst many calisthenic channels, you know, when it comes to something like a planche push-up, or, you know, you have to think about the mechanical position. Is that something you really want as your goal? It looks very cool. The muscle up, again, there are benefits, disadvantages, you know, think about your shoulder health, all that sort of stuff.
I don't think that anybody that knows enough to be able to, like, do his routines needs him to write the routine. You know, like, one of the very first videos I saw him was, you know, okay, we're going to warm up, and he warmed up for like a minute and was doing muscle ups. And I'm like, you're gonna fucking kill somebody. Like these people are going to try to do these things, and I know that people got tweets about it. Like when I said, you know, it's a trick, it's a momentum trick. You can see him swinging forward, and then when he comes back, it's actually a momentum trick by physics. There's actually a point where his body reaches like it actually weighs 0. Like when his inertia pushing him up from the momentum equals the gravitational force on his mass. If he pulls at that right time, he can launch himself over the fucking bar, right? And people are like, "Oh, you're just a hater." Like, that's physics, bitch.
It's really interesting as well. Like, you know, but your stuff with Chris Harrier, also your stuff with V-Shred. You were, you know, I like to think of you kind of like in the movies where you have like the police outside the door and the guy who's at the front with the battering ram. You know, the first guy through the door. So like you basically take all the risk. You're the first through the door. You'll say V-Shred is doing this, and then everyone else, including myself at times, although I slightly focus on different points than you did, but you know, we'll make videos, but be clear. People need to be clear. You are the first through the door. You assume all the risk with many of these, some of the biggest trending topics in recent YouTube fitness, whether it's Harrier, whether it's V-Shred. You know, how many V-Shred videos are there now? Hundreds and hundreds saying this guy knows, you know, what is he talking about? They weren't saying that before you made your video.
Right.
They, you know, this guy was like the golden boy.
I couldn't believe it. Like, I mean, like how he's so like I watched his videos and I'm like, that was when I was first like really getting into like I did roast videos, like comedy, but like really getting into like the critique of people. Like he so clearly doesn't know what he's doing. Like it's so obvious he doesn't know what he's doing, you know?
Yeah.
And I was just amazed at how his audience was pissed for a while. Like at the very beginning, his audience was pissed. Even with me supporting Jeff, like, I mean, I was still receiving a lot of heat. And I'm just like, it's right there that this man doesn't know what he's doing. The audience just they hero worship people. Like I said this on a live, I think yesterday, like I'm not Every Damn Day Fitness. I'm Alan Roberts. We run a business called Every Damn Day Fitness. You know, these people set themselves up like this like entity, you know, like, and to me that's kind of dangerous because they're just people. Like I've met a bunch of them. They're just people. Like most of them are very, very socially awkward like I am, you know, like they're just people. And you know, we spend a lot of time alone in front of cameras, in front of computers. People don't realize that about us either. To emulate or to, you know, hero worship people that oftentimes this is all they're good at. You know, like truly, that's the only thing that they're good at, and some of them can't even do that well. The Harriet people were crazy. The Harriet people were like trying to hack my shit and stuff like that.
Where would you put them if you had to create a league table of the most sort of emotional fanboy responses? So Harrier, V-Shred,
no,
I don't know, Fitness Addict.
Fictional Patterns is way
number one.
Way number one. They literally like fake accounts trying to, and I had like 500 subscribers or something like that at the time.
Yeah.
You know, and it was like, you know, trying to hack all my stuff. Like they like 20 fake Twitter accounts, shit like that. You know, like crazy shit. You know, and then it's definitely the Harriet fans after that.
Harriet fans, yeah.
And then V-Shreds.
They're pretty strong.
Then V-Shreds, and then there's no really, Vince Delmoss really doesn't have fans. So and Tyrone's fans will like be like, can't wait for you know, they'll like, he's like, I'm subscribed to him, but
they enjoy it.
You know? But the Harriet fans were tough until I did the box jump video, and then also they shut the fuck up. It was like a door closed.
Yeah.
You know, like where they were like, oh, you suck, and you're just hey blah blah blah, and Chris is so much better than you. Like, because I was at the time I was saying he's great on the bar, but on his feet he's mediocre. Like he's kind of intermediate. He's intermediate at best. And they're like, oh, shut the fuck up. You can't do this. You can't do that. And like all of a sudden, like I do it, and silence. Like, you know, we were getting 100 emails a day, angry emails, and a couple other 100, you know, DMs, angry DMs. And the next day we woke up and it was like gone. Like, you know, like the filter picked up. And I think Tyrone's fans aren't really his fans anymore.
I'm trying to multitask. I'm trying to read the comments. Thank you for the nice. Thank you so much for the people that are leaving nice, kind comments. That's very, very kind of you. Thank you.
But let's see. I think Tyrone's fans aren't really his fans. For a while, we didn't make videos on Tyrone because she felt like I was picking on him.
I felt bad for him.
And you made the thing on his so the watermelon challenge where he's like isometrically squeezing this, watermelon. What was that about?
He did a Gym Idiots video, right?
Yeah, he did a video where he was like making fun of other people working out at the gym, and I didn't like that.
She came into the room as I was working. She was like, "Get him."
He was making fun of people in the training in the gym, and they were that's something. So that also relates to sort of in terms of morbid obese. You see these stories about people who go into the gym and they have these terrible trainers. That's awful. That's something I want to say. That is just, they're not professional fit. They're not fitness professionals. Yeah. I've actually read it in your Facebook group, in your community. Yeah. Someone put a story and she said she went into this gym. It was kind of an old school gym, but and they would it was a terrible experience. And it's that ain't cool. That ain't cricket.
Well,
don't do
that. I don't even know what that means, but it sounds awesome. But I find it to be like egregious, because there's always somebody stronger than you anyway, and better at gymming than you anyway, And we hear it all the time because most of our clients are not in shape. We have a few clients that are in shape that just want to be in better shape, or that are in shape and want to help deal with their food issues. Because you can have a bad relationship with food and still be in shape. You can't. I just find it horrible. That was one of my very first. That was actually how I found Alpha M. When I first made videos on him that are now on this. I don't even know if those ones are up.
That's an interesting profile, Alpha M, Alan. That's an interesting.
Well, Aaron's a nice guy. So
yeah, he comes across as a nice guy.
Would I hire Aaron to be my trainer? No, and I told him that.
Supplement information a wee bit wonky, but
I mean, Aaron is a salesman, and I mean unapologetically so a salesman, and he taught us a lot about business. The thing was, people don't know, we had plenty of he runs him and Antonio run a group called Mental, and they basically get all the sponsors for a lot of the style guys, right? And they often they're like, we can have you start doing sponsored ads right now, and I was just like, I just can't, I can't get there. We'll make ourselves the product, that's when we started talking about business and all of that. So, of course, here's the Weed Whacker.
Yeah, there it is, Weed Whacker. It's fine. I can ramble with Weed Whackers as well. It's similar to me. I can never see myself, and I won't do, pushing just some sort of product just for the sake of the cash, just to, I can't imagine doing that on the chat. I can't, you have a responsibility to the community of subscribers. You have a responsibility, to maintain, your transparency. And, these people that's just 1 week they're pushing this, the next week in fitness channels, it's not something I never understand it. I could never, connect with the people that do that in the sort of in fitness YouTube.
Yeah. To me, it's the overcomplication that bothers me the most. The calories in calories out doesn't work. It's about your hormones. Her name is. I talked this over the second day around. I'm talking about Shelley Darlington, I think is her name. She got really ass hurt about it. She so clearly doesn't know what she's talking about. When people say it's all about your hormones make up calories out. It's so frustrating to me. And when people make a very loose statement like that, it has nothing to, calories in, calories out doesn't work. Mm-hmm. What that tells somebody that doesn't want to watch what they eat is that they just need to worry about their hormones. They have no idea how to do that, so they don't actually do anything. They just eat, and that's irresponsible. That really, to me, that's why fat acceptance happened. Is in the last 20 years, the fitness community has become nothing but money, hungry whores, trying to make as much dollar as they can, and letting people down with fad diets and work crazy, insane workout programs that will help a person burn 2,000 more calories a day than what they normally do. And then all of a sudden, when they're off the program, they gain all the weight back plus more. It's that we have created the fat acceptance movement because people just wanted to fucking say, fuck it. And it's almost hard to blame them when Vince from B Shreds tells you can eat pizza and drink Coca-Cola every night.
Yeah. he has an advert. I don't know if you've seen it on Instagram, but it's everywhere. Vince's adverts are everywhere. You can't like go 10 minutes without seeing one of those things. But he's saying, you know, this guy came up to me in Starbucks and said, how do you look so, how are you so good looking? And here's my 3 body types to do it. It's just hilarious.
I saw that one.
I haven't seen that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Because
It literally is a guy saying, how do you have such a great body? Someone, it's like, come on, that's a made up story.
it's absolutely, first of all, creeper. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Vince is not like a massive dude or something like that. If he was in Starbucks, I hope he's wearing a shirt. If he's wearing a shirt, he looks pretty fucking normal. You know, I mean, it's not like he's like some massive guy or anything like that. I think I have Vince by something like fucking, 30 pounds, It's, and I'm not a massive guy, I don't think I am, but, to me, when people make up shit like that, it's the same thing as like the Brittany Dawn girls be like,
that's exactly what I thought of.
this person walked up to me in Starbucks
Yeah.
and said, "Are you okay?" Like, they don't know who the
I've
fuck
not
you
seen.
are.
Yeah, I've not seen that. I saw some of her content, Brittany Dawn. It was not good. Like the
No.
actual fitness content was horrific.
Yeah, I mean, she knows nothing about fitness. No,
It was horrific. Yeah.
another instance of it though, especially because it's geared towards women, right? I don't understand. Like, nobody actually called me and said, "Hey, you can be an influencer." I don't know how people get that job title if they give it to themselves. But like, she's like, being an influencer, like,
Being an influencer.
what are you like? Are you influencing everybody to like use like a crayon to spray tan? Because I don't know how that happens. I mean, I missed my influencer email, I think.
If I ever get to anywhere towards saying I'm an influencer, you have my permission to slap me.
Yeah.
Like honestly, anyone has my permission to slap me if those sentences ever come out my mouth.
Yeah.
The most cringeworthy, the egotistical influencer type sort of stuff.
I'd rather be like an educator or something like that. I don't want to influence people.
Yeah, just a person making videos. We're just people making videos. There's nothing special about us. We're just people talking to camera. And the thing that is different is we're telling the truth. And so that's now become fashionable. But we're telling the truth. And so
we're trendsetters.
Yeah.
Look, we influence people. all these fucking like I'm happy to see it. I am, because like as long as they're not calling out good information, like when you accidentally misunderstand Brad Schoenfeld and give out bad information, like when you say he doesn't know what he's doing, you better be able to whip it out and be a fucking Magnum condom. That's for fucking sure, because that shit's crazy. Like
so I quote a range of people. Dr. Brad Schoenfeld's one of them. You've got people like Eric Helms, Dr. Eddie Joe, Greg Knuckles. You've got all these evidence-based people, and what they do, which is really brilliant, is they have social media profiles where they make their information digestible. So they create graphics or very broken down, because let's be honest, most people don't have hours to read through research and do so these guys, what they do, and in their articles, their social media, they make it so accessible, and that's actually one great part of Instagram and these platforms, where people can access. There's such a huge disconnect between fitness celebrity and evidence-based researcher, and there's a huge disconnect. So that's one really good thing. Dr. Brad Schoenfeld, he is literally the guy, for anyone that's not heard of him, who is researching not just individual research. He does meta-analysis too. He collaborates with other researchers. He is the guy that's improving our understanding of muscle hypertrophy. If anyone ever hears muscle growth is caused by metabolic stress, mechanical tension, muscle damage. Now, they're not a specific hierarchy, but those are 3 base layer principles of muscle growth. Dr. Brad Schoenfeld is the guy that was, doing that research and projecting it. So, for anyone that's listening who's not heard of these people, he's a fantastic source of information. There's plenty of others too, but those guys I think are great.
One of the things I think people don't do is, like, if you're going to make a video about somebody, it's haven't been like 10, 15 videos now, where I'll either get a hold of you or I saw the supplement engineer, Robert's on here. Like, if it's not a supplement, I actually get a hold of Robert. I'm like, hey.
Yeah, he's a smart man.
Explain this to me, so I'm sure I'm seeing this right. because I don't want to put it, like, I don't want to be wrong, you know, and it's not like I'm not going to be plenty of times more, but I want to make sure that I can be as right as possible. And if I'm not sure about it, I want to make sure I'm sure about it. That's why I ask you shit too, you know, like, you know, if I want to make sure I've read a study correctly, I'll ask you or Kaz Hadjic to read it for me, and, like, you know, here's my thoughts on it. Am I right or am I wrong? I don't understand why these people won't do that.
It's important, but it's true, and it's people, and it goes to other things. So people ask me to make a bench press tutorial. Spoiler alert, I am not the guy. I'm not the guy to make the bench press tutorial. I'm very openly going to say that. You know, there are so many other channels that will do it better than me. You know, so you know, that thing you have about staying in your lane. I sometimes slightly creep outside my lane, but when it comes to supplementation, there's a heavy exercise science component to it. So I understand the theory and application, but definitely when it comes to lifting, when it comes to critiquing people as well, you know, definitely, you know, you got to be careful. You got a responsibility with that.
Yeah, to give somebody false information. Here's my thing, especially when if I am going to discount, negatively talk about, or critique somebody's information, I really want to be right, because the thing is, when you have an audience, and you're going to do that, you have a responsibility to the audience and to the person that you're talking about, to make sure that you get it right. Because if you get it wrong, unless you do a full retraction, there's going to be people that are going to believe you no matter what. It's just the nature of people, right? So if I say, like, such and such is a complete idiot because he said this is one way and it's actually the other way, and if I'm wrong and I don't retract it, people are going to think there's going to be a certain portion of people that are not going to know better, and they're going to think he's a dumb idiot, you know? And that's not fair. One, it's disreputable for me, and two, it's just not fair to the person, you know? Have any people you've ever talked about, like, actually, like, reached out to you?
Yes. So this is something I'll say. Good or bad, I never promote it on my channel. I never use it as like a, you know, marketing technique. Oh, you know, this guy reached out to me. If it's good, for example, I don't use that to further myself. That's just me. But I've had, you know, certainly when I was maybe 20, 30,000 subscribers on the channel, you know, I had a few people, you know, politely but diplomatically and firmly telling me, maybe you should stop critiquing these people, maybe you should, you know, and they happen to be people who were involved in the supplement industry, who, you know, had that type of thing. So yeah, that's something I can tell you behind the scenes. But yeah, definitely, anyone that you'll know one of these guys very well. Anyone who makes content, you're gonna have people that reach out to you positively and negatively, and it can be a bit of a minefield, and it can be wonderful. But again, and it's like, but yeah, absolutely. Every single video I've made, I've been told by, whether it's a comment, whether it's a YouTuber, I'm doing everything wrong. You know, there's always a major problem, but that's part of why you come into YouTube. You have to understand who you are, what you're doing, stay true to yourself, trust yourself, know what you're doing. I'm always going to make my content this way. I'm not going to, you know, become impressionable to you know, Johnny Biceps in the supplement industry, who, you know.
Well, we don't, like, that's our thing. We won't take outside cash.
Yeah.
Like, I was at one point in time sponsored by Herbstrong, just because I still love their CBD oil. I still love it. Yeah. I really do.
Yeah. 2 words for you. 2 words. Devin Physique.
Yeah, I know. When they started sponsoring all sorts of other people, they're like, we're done. You know, like
Kenny Ko.
Yeah, I'm not going to be associated with anybody I don't have to be associated with. I've learned my lesson on that shit. And you know, my thing is, I'd rather be associated through knowledge with people than by that. You know, like I'm associated with Jeff and I'm associated with Casey because we're friends. You know, and we all speak together at the same event. We go to Jeff's event. You know, a few other people that I meet along the way, and I have no problem with that. I don't take money from any of them. You know, like Casey sends me supplements, but because we're friends. You know, like, I mean, like, and that's just true. You know, and you know, I would hang out with him at a given time. I'm hoping he's going to go on a cruise with us at some point in time here next year.
He's a great story. That guy. I don't know him at all. I've seen some of his content, but he's a great story. In terms of.
We're going to have him on here at some point.
Okay, that'll be interesting. You've had some great conversations. Omar Isuf, Omar was like the YouTube historian. He was just reeling off names that was incredible.
I love that he had like this was phase 1 of YouTube fitness. Here's where I was like,
I had to postpone my workout to watch you, like, and he's going, 1999, this guy, then this guy, like, honestly, the guy, YouTube historian, amazing.
I was like, damn, he put some thought into this shit, Here's my thing, like, and we plan on having quite a few other people. I reach out to a lot of people, like, about this, because I think conversations in the fitness industry are good to have. And I would love to have, like, I'd love to have Chris Harry on here. I'd fucking love to have Chris on here, or a lot of people that I don't like or don't like me. I like it because me and Omar hadn't had too much conversation, and I thought it was pretty cool that he was like, yeah, I'll do it. Like, he didn't hesitate. Like, I sent him a message like, hey, would you like to have a conversation on my channel? He's like, sure. What time? I watch you and James all the time. What time?
That's cool. He does a lot of.
I sent out a bunch, dude. Like, dozens, and no answer. People not even reading them. Or the best one is that, like, they've read them and they don't respond. They're like, no.
They don't want any part of that.
I'm not falling into that trap. But it's not like I'm just going to ask, like, relatively real questions. I don't agree. I don't think I fully 100% agree with anybody on anything. It is.
It's really important. These conversations. The reason I said at the start, this is a nice addition, is because these kind of longer format videos, they give people an idea, firstly, behind someone's personality and character, because believe it or not, there are people who will click their fingers and turn on a persona for YouTube, in front of it. So these are really good because people can see, oh, actually, yeah, you are the guy that's on the, that we see on YouTube. And also it can be very good for kind of drowning out people that may be faking knowledge, because you can make a 5-minute video on fat loss supplements and have someone send you a script and read a teleprompter. But, if you're given questions, in this format, do you know what you're proposing that
the thing about it is, I think people assume that we're all fake, and I think that's one of the reasons why, like, people like me and you, like, I turn up the swearing sometimes a little bit more when I'm in the car or something like that. Like, the video I got coming out today, I got mad and I
that's it.
But like, I took some shit. Like, I had beers on camera last night when I was talking to Jordan Syat, and people are like, what a horrible example. I'm like, I openly admit that I drink beer. Do you not expect me to be me like that?
In England, you would be considered a polite gentleman. People need to understand. In England, you're just like, yeah, that's how it is. Yeah. In England, we greet our friends by swearing at them and insulting them. That's a term of endearment.
Call each other cunts and shit like that.
But what's interesting with your channel, and that's quite interesting. People get really upset, but they miss the message, which is, going through your whole video, you have a message. You're not, if you think that if people think that you are just rambling and shouting at camera, they're wrong. Of course you're not. Yeah. Of course, like, what you're talking about. And I actually never found your channel controversial, which is weird. People, because the swearing doesn't, that I always understand that when I started following you, I could understand what you're saying. I understand the point running through your video. You're using, that's your form of delivery, but you have different forms of delivery too. So, that's the way you deliver your content. If people can't see the message, replay it. But for me, you've never been controversial.
Right.
But that's just me. I understand. Yeah, I instantly connected.
Some people just like love it, and other people are like, oh, yeah. I had one people like, don't use the Lord's name in vain. I'm like, I just said 10 minutes worth of information, and the last thing I said is what you are fucking hung up on. Like, sometimes it just makes me hurt. Like, it hurts my brain. I'm going to get my information across my way, and I think that's what people understand. We don't depend on YouTube revenue, and never will. I think it's dumb for people to do so. Like, don't get me wrong, they can pay me. I'll take the money, but I don't depend on it.
But also you're perhaps the fault is you don't self-promote. So you don't say in your videos, this is my history in the fitness industry. Actually, I used to work in, and I know what you used to do. And people may not know that. So because you don't self-promote as, other people, maybe, some people don't fully understand, but if I watch your video and you know what you're talking about, but that may be one issue too, because you're not self-promoting, I did this, I have this background.
Yeah. To me, though, I try to make the channel way more about the message than me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I eventually want it to be where there'll probably be a different person on the channel. Like I don't because I'm not Every Damn Day Fitness. Like, it's our company. We own it.
Do you have any candidates in mind?
Not for a couple of years yet, man. Not for a couple of years yet. No, I don't. So I've got a lot left in me still.
Yeah, lots of.
But I don't want to I don't want it to be too much about me. Yep. My Instagram, I like being about my thoughts, and the Facebook group, I think we're gonna make more about Crystal and I, because it's a closed group, and as we boot some more people out, we're gonna be making it more about our life. But the actual channel, the channel is about delivering a message and trying to make some change and shit like that. That to me is the important part of the channel, Absolutely. And I think that you do a very good job that way too, you do a very good job of that also, where it's you try to make it more about the information. Whereas most of these, I think that's the fault of a lot of the old school YouTube guys. I this, I that, here's what I think about this, my thoughts on this. No, I don't fuck. Why should I give a fuck what your thoughts are about this? There's a few people that from the old school YouTube guard that they still make videos and train and hurt themselves every 2 weeks, but then they want to give their advice on training. You can't adequately train yourself without snapping your shit up. Why the fuck should anybody listen to you? Why are you still making videos about that shit? Maybe you should watch somebody else's, But it's they want to be famous. Being YouTube famous is not fun. I don't understand it. You take anonymous ridicule,
in every video.
In every video, it does not matter what it's about. Question you all the time, I made a video when the whole Harriet shit was going on, dude. Where I talked about the information is information, facts are facts. It doesn't matter if it's said in a car or a 6-year-old. It doesn't matter what it is, And it's the same thing for you. You will say something so clearly and so plainly, and then people will be like, "Do you even lift?" How often do you find yourself having to struggle against that argument? Where it's but they're bigger than you.
Yeah, it's always going to be something. So anyone who makes any content, that you're always going to get that it's going to be something. If you're a big guy, it's going to be something different. It's going to be you swear, and the thing that people need to understand with me is I'm in bonus territory right now. I never expected to have over 100,000 subscribers. This is a bonus. People don't understand. This is not something I feel entitled to or expected. If it all dies tomorrow, it's that was amazing. That's something, it's not, so I come at it like that. But, it's interesting. It's interesting how people respond. In my last video on isometrics, I give 14 minutes of information on isometric training, and I cover so many topics. I cover a systematic review, and I concise it, all these things. And I say in it, dear the one person who's going to comment, I cannot cover every topic about isometrics in one video.
Right.
Trust me, you don't want to listen to me for 2 hours. Okay. And I got the comment. I'm surprised you didn't talk about gymnastics, and it's so sometimes, and it's you can never win in some cases, no matter how you approach it, how you do it. In terms of anyone who wants to make content, you're always going to get criticized. And this kind of relates to the obesity issues you talk about too. The abuse of obese people is disgusting. Verbal abuse, or it's horrible. But I get so. But people like me, who make YouTube videos, I get abused. I get and what a lot of people don't realize is it's filtered, so you won't actually see it in the comments section. I get paragraphs of abuse. I can give you one example. So I made a CrossFit video about the Try Guys, and I don't know the Try Guys that well. I just watched this video. They're nice guys. in the video, this guy has a bad history with exercise. He was intimidated in high school. He's worried about his health, his friends. He's seen his friends have heart attacks. CrossFit is something that helped him. So it was a positive video. Now, I didn't know that he used to be on the BuzzFeed channel, which, let's be honest, makes some pretty cheesy content. I'm not the biggest fan, but I didn't, but it's not relevant. It's not so relevant. The amount of abuse, paragraphs of, accusing me of all, so whatever you do, you're not going to win. So just stay true to yourself, and just keep making the content that you believe in.
Don't read the filtered comments.
Don't read the filtered comments. That's good advice.
Filter comments. It's like the 7th level of hell.
Yeah.
Because I filter out, and people are like, "Oh, you're hiding my comment." First of all, even if I was, it's my channel. But secondly, I filter out all any racially words, anything homophobic. I try to anything that's going to cause abuse, because for several reasons. One, I just don't like that shit. I go, fuck, damn, shit, whatever, bitch, blah blah blah. Bitch is the word I use for guys who refer to women as bitches. I say all the time. So I don't mind that, but the other shit, I don't have any place in that in my life. I view people as people, and I don't think anybody has, if you want to have a right to say that, you can do it on somebody else's channel. But there's that, but there's also that it is only a matter of time before YouTube starts striking at people for their comment sections.
Yep.
I truly believe that. YouTube, people need to understand, when you're a YouTube, the creator, they will hold you accountable for fucking everything, and they don't tell us why. Me and you talk all the time. This video is demonetized. I have no some of my videos that are demonetized. I have no fucking idea why. There are no swearing, kind tone, demonetized. Totally demonetized. Other videos where I had videos fully monetized. I was accusing Antonio Santana of being a serial killer, walking through the scenario of him having somebody locked in a cage and shit like that in his living room, and that was fully monetized. And people were getting suggested the video constantly. It was one of my very first big videos. I'm like, how the fuck does this work?
There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, and it happens to me weeks after a video will become demonetized, it will be reviewed. And so one thing I do in my videos is I give very quick disclaimers. So if I'm talking about something like 6-packs, I'll say this is not a judgment on body composition. This is about the science, the health, and people say, do you need to do that? Well, very sadly, you do, because people review your videos all the time, weeks after, and you don't want to have your videos removed, your channel removed, because then you lose the ability to put out this information. So there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. Yep,
a ton. Well, all right, man, we've been on for about an hour. I just wanted to, what do you have? Do you have anything in closing? Do you have any questions for me or for Crystal or anything like that?
Really, just thank you so much. And I think it's important to talk about what Crystal does in terms of her yoga. So let me just, much respect to you, Alan, but I'm going to ask Crystal a quick question, because as yoga. So for anyone that's like me, new, a beginner to yoga, they're interested in it, they know they want to do it. What sort of yoga routines and flows, and maybe duration, how long a session should people, who are brand new to this sort of stuff, be looking at, getting into?
Well, it really depends on the individual. So the first thing that I love to tell everyone, even people that have been doing yoga for a long time, is you have to listen to your body and you have to take it at your own pace. And with yoga, you're not in competition with yourself or anyone else, especially people that like us that like to work out all the time. We really want to push ourselves as hard as we can. And that's not what yoga is about at all. It's about accepting where you are in the moment and just letting go and relaxing. So never try to force yourself into a stretch or force the pose into the way that you think it should look. Just take it to the point that feels right to you, and then just try to release the tension, try to relax. And flexibility, mobility will come with time, especially if you approach it in that manner, instead of just trying to force yourself into a stretch, which can cause an injury or make you think that yoga hurts and you don't like it. Instead, be very gentle and approach it in a more relaxing way, and your practice will move along quicker than you think.
That's great advice. That's interesting. Sometimes I look like one of those shake weights when I'm trying to hold a position, shaking all over. So that's great info. Yeah, that's great. That's great advice. I think I'm going to try and remember that. Don't
So
force myself. Stay in the moment.
thing that can help when you feel shaky is one, focus on your core strength. Try to make sure that you're really engaging your muscles in your core, but also in your leg muscles. Try to root your feet if you're in a standing pose. Things like that will really help.
Okay, that's good. I'll remember that. Thank you very much. I will. So I love the art of yoga. So much respect to anyone who watching this who does yoga.
Thank you.
including Alan.
All right, guys. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And James, thank you so much, man. We'll talk.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's been great. Thank you.
And